The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions.
Welcome to Hearts of Gold. Today we have Carson with us. Hi, Carson.
Hello.
Can you tell us about your Girl Scout Gold Award project?
Back in 2017, I went on a school community service trip with a company called Fathom, and we went down to the Dominican Republic, and in the Dominican Republic, we got choices of service projects we would like to do, and one of the options that we could do was help a all-woman-owned business called RePapel, where they make recycled paper goods and products and also just sell paper in general. So we got there, it was in not a great part of town, and we show up and we have to walk a block, which was kind of scary, but we walk down, we get there, and these women are just filled with such joy and have the best character I've ever seen. And they're surrounded by this area of poverty, but that was not stopping them at all. They just had the greatest hearts, and they were singing when we walked up. So we show up and they go through the whole paper process with us, and we got to interact with each piece of the paper making process. And I noticed that one of the parts is where we have a smooth paper. So we had a smooth paper with these old rollerball deodorant containers, and it was very time consuming and hard. And after we went through the whole process, we left, and it was just this amazing experience. So then it's around the time I'm going into high school, it's around the time when I can start doing my gold award, and I'm trying to think of ideas, and I went through a million ideas, and then all of a sudden this idea that maybe I could help these women at RePapel came to me. So like I said before, one of the parts is where we had a smooth paper, and it was very difficult. And there was also a few other parts of the process I could see could be better. And so I worked with a couple fabricators and lots of wonderful people in my community to help me build this tool made of stainless steel metal that kind of looks like a paint roller a little bit to help smooth the paper.
And you got to travel back there to take the tool back to the women.
So then about a year later, after thinking of the idea, working with people to help me create this product, some failed attempts and things like that, I went back to the Dominican Republic and got to see these wonderful ladies again, where at the original time when I went down there in 2017, there were about 12 of them. And then when I came back, there were about 5 of them. So it was all very different. They were in a different house. It was definitely different than the first experience, and not in a bad way, just different. And I got to spend more one-on-one time with them, about 3 days one-on-one time, and just help them go through the whole process again, introduce some new tools to see if they liked it. And originally I went down there, and if they didn't like it, I wasn't going to force anything on them. That was the whole part of the project. Like, I would never want to go down there and force anything that they didn't like. I introduced it to them. I had talked for a year prior about the tool and my idea to see if they even wanted help. And when I went down there and introduced the tool, and they ended up loving it. And we smoothed a lot of paper. We made a lot of paper also, and one of the tools actually, that was my failed attempts. I worked with 2 fabricators, and one of the fabricators, the tool did not work, but that failed tool, we took down there just to see if we could implement it in any other part of the process. And in their part of the process where they dry the paper, we actually ended up implementing the failed tool in that part of the process. So actually the failure ended up working out. Also, when I went down there the second time, I got to know these women a lot better. And of course, they speak Spanish, and I do not speak Spanish, but we had some wonderful people that helped us translate, and Google Translate also. I got to know these ladies and just how wonderful they are, and I got to know some of their family members, and they were just the sweetest people ever. They fed us some meals, and just, spending time one-on-one with them was amazing.
What was the design and manufacturing process like?
I am not an engineer or fabricator, have no idea what I'm doing in that realm. So I came up with this idea, and I was kind of lost as to where I was going to get help with this said idea that I wanted to make into this product. And I'm like, okay, I have no clue where to start. But my grandma, actually, she works at a company that works with a bunch of engineers and everything like that. So I go to her, and I'm like, do you have anybody that you can put me in contact with that would be able to help me come up with this idea, kind of draw it out for me on paper, because all these ideas are in my head. I'm trying to draw it best I can to I want to know what this product looks like, but it's not great. And so she's like, yeah, of course. So she puts me in contact with this one guy. He lives about an hour from where I am. So on a Saturday, me and my mom travel to this guy's company where he makes all kinds of steel products, metal products, and things like that. And we sit down with him. He's very nice. And I was like, okay, here's my idea. I had some products that I brought with me that I kind of wanted it to look like. I was like, can you help me? And he was like, yes. So I give him my contact number. I go we part ways, and it was just, I never really heard anything. It was very hard to get back in contact with him. Nothing seemed to be working. I can't move forward without this product. And so I'm kind of at a standstill. So it's taking forever. I try to get in contact with him a couple more times, and he answers, but it takes forever. And, he has a life. He has a job. He's not making me pay for anything. And so I understand I'm not like his top priority, which is fine, but I was counting on him, and he had made a deal with me. And so I asked my grandma, can you put me in contact with someone else? Do you have somebody else that I can be put in contact with? So she puts me in contact with another person. This guy lives much closer to me. I go to him, we sit down, have a meeting. I say, hey, here's kind of my idea. Can you help me put this into fruition? He goes, yes. So we go through an idea, and he gets back to me much quicker with the product. A couple weeks later, he comes back with this product that he's built and says, here's something that I've come up with. Will it work? Do you like it? I go back home, test this product with some paper that I had from the ladies at RePapel, and the product didn't work. So I go back to him, and I said, hey, this didn't work. Can we try it again? He says, of course. So we do a second attempt at something, and it doesn't work. So then out of the blue, the first person that I contacted to see if they could help me comes back. He's like, hey, I have the tool. If you want to come pick it up. And I said, oh my gosh, okay. So I'm in shock, because I thought he had bailed on me. So I go back, pick it up, and the tool that the first person had originally made for me ended up working. But also the failing tool, like I said, the first attempt actually ended up working for something else, which was great. It was also really, really cool to see this idea that I had come up with in my head, and to actually see it in real life, which was very cool, because at first you're like, oh, was this even possible? Because this is an idea. So when it came to see it in real life, it felt like this project was really coming to life.
Many Girl Scouts who have engineering included in their Gold Awards are usually planning on going on to engineering later in life. That is not your plan. Can you tell us what you're doing with school?
So that is not my plan. Definitely not. I think STEM is important. And I think without that piece of my project would have never happened, but that's definitely not something I'm like fully interested in. I am graduating from college also this year with my associate's degree in hospitality and tourism management. And I actually currently work at a hotel, and I want to be an event planner. So next year I'm going to take a gap year, and I'm going to work, and then I'm also going to do some internships locally, some event planning internships, because where I live is a great location for that, and then go off to college and get my higher degree for hospitality and tourism.
And you did not mention that you are actually going to have your associate's degree before you graduate from high school.
My college graduation is about 3 weeks before my high school graduation, which is very crazy to me.
Many girls feel they're too busy to do the Gold Award. You were going to college, you were going to high school, you're a varsity athlete, you were working. How did you manage it all?
It wasn't easy, I'll say that. Definitely was not easy. But I think one thing that somebody told me a long time ago that I keep with me always is you're always going to make time for the things, you're going to prioritize the things that you think are important. And all those things are very important to me. My job, my athletics, school, all the activities I do, it all is very important to me. So I make time for it. And I'm very busy constantly, but you have to have good time management skills. It's not something that, just comes to you. It's something you learn over time. And I used to be terrible at time management. I used to procrastinate like crazy, but I've learned how to manage my time and put things in place where I can make everything work. And it helps to have people behind you that are also pushing you towards your goals. I have friends and my parents and other family members that are just there behind me saying, if I really want to do it, let's get it done so I can do it. And let's put things into action so you can do it. And I think that is one of the most important pieces to have, people behind you that are supporting you. Because if you don't have anybody supporting you in your goals, then it's going to be 10 times harder to get it done. No, not that you can't get it done, not that you can't do it, but it's just going to be 10 times harder.
In addition to all of the other things we've talked about, you had the opportunity to give a TEDx presentation. Can you tell us about that experience?
It's always been one of my goals to give a TED talk. And this year was we have TEDx Charleston, and then we have, which was the inaugural year for TEDx White Point Gardens Women's Event, which is a new event in Charleston. And this woman that I know came to me and said, hey, we're looking for a teen presenter. Would you like to audition and see if you fit what we're looking for? I said, absolutely. A year prior, I'd been like, I want to do a TEDx talk and like all this stuff. So I auditioned, and then they come back to me and they're like, we've selected you if you want to do it. And I said, of course. So go through this 3-4 month journey of preparing my TED talk, coming up with ideas of what I'm going to talk about. I knew I wanted to talk about my Gold Award because it was a huge journey, and I've learned so many things from it. It's been an amazing opportunity. So I wanted to talk about it. In my TED talk, I talk about how stepping outside of your comfort zone can create a ripple effect into something that's really great. So through my Gold Award, for me, going to a different country, stepping into a career that I'd never stepped into, like engineering, was very uncomfortable for me, and it was way outside my comfort zone. But through that, I created a ripple effect and helped these women with their business, and it was amazing. And for me, I love public speaking, which not a lot of people can say they do. Once I got up there on stage and I did my talk and I did it in front of all these people, I felt amazing, and I felt like I love doing this. Doing that talk was also out of my comfort zone because, you're on camera, it's on YouTube, it lives there forever. But I know that I came up with a message that I know is very impactful for a lot of people.
And we will put a link to that TEDx talk in the show notes for this episode. Another experience that you've had is that you had the opportunity to be a legislative page. Can you tell us about that opportunity?
I got to be a honorary legislative page. A page is basically where you run errands and do anything that senators or somebody in the House of Representatives wants you to do. So for a week, I got to go to Columbia, South Carolina, and I got to sit in on the Senate and the House of Representatives and just, got to see them in action doing what they want. I was actually on the floor with them. They call you and they tell you, the senators, they ask you to run errands. So I was running errands all over Columbia, doing things for them. I'm very interested in politics, and I love learning about all things government and things like that. So it was very cool for me to be actually on the floor in the midst of all of it, and got to see them in action and actually see bills that are on the floor that they're talking about and things that are going on in South Carolina that impact everyone, whether you know it or not.
The Dominican Republic is also not the only time that you've been overseas. You've been on some Girl Scout destinations too. Can you tell us about those?
I went to the Dominican Republic, was my first overseas trip. But I also went to Costa Rica about a year ago over the summer with some girls in my Girl Scout troop, and then some other girls I know, and then also some other girls from all over the United States. And that was really cool. We went all over Costa Rica. There's different regions and everything like that. So we went to some colder regions, some warmer regions. And we stayed there for about 9 days. Similar to the Dominican Republic, very tropical, sort of in the same area. And then this upcoming summer, I'm going to go to the Galapagos Islands, which is off the coast of Ecuador, where people mostly know it as where Charles Darwin found a lot of his species and things like that. So I'm very excited.
You have also become a mentor to other Girl Scouts through a World Thinking Day event. Can you tell us about your interactions with World Thinking Day?
For many years, World Thinking Day to a lot of people was just flags and food. Girls got to learn about other countries and things like that, but we really wanted to be a different event where it wasn't just about eating food and seeing all these different countries. Girls actually got to have talking points and things like that of things we wanted to learn. Me and some other girls that I know from different regions of South Carolina, we get to sit down and plan an event through World Thinking Day where girls are actually learning how to make a difference in their communities and how these things impact them, and teaching young girls topics that they may not know about otherwise, which is very exciting, and actually like planning activities around those points like gender equality and equity, for example, planning activities around those where it makes it easier for girls to understand on their level.
You have a ton of other Girl Scout activities that you have done over the years. Can you tell us about some of those and what stands out for you?
I've been a Girl Scout for 11 years now. I was not a Daisy, but I was a Brownie from there up. And I've been a counselor in training, PA, which is a program aide. I was a delegate where I got to actually go each year to the annual meeting and vote on things that are going on within our council and things like that. And of course, the legislative page program, I got to be a national delegate at the national convention in 2017, which was, I think, one of the most exciting Girl Scout experiences I've ever gotten to do. I met girls from all over the United States, also some girls outside of the country, and just getting to come together at a convention to have everybody else who is also so excited and so interested in the thing you're interested in and things you love and have loved for years is very cool, and get to talk to those people. Before you have the convention, you have the meeting with all the delegates and everything like that, where we get to vote on things that are happening in Girl Scouts and actually things that impact for every Girl Scout for years to come. And so it was very cool to be part of that process and to actually use your voice and represent girls that are in your council. And like I said, meeting all Girl Scouts, there was in Columbus, Ohio in 2017. So anywhere you walked on the streets, there was Girl Scouts everywhere. It was very cool. But it was cool to talk to other girls, but also I felt like my voice was very important, which was always good for me, because sometimes with so many people, you don't feel like your voice is personally heard. And through that, I felt like somebody was hearing my voice and I got to represent people and make a difference.
For Girl Scout leaders or Girl Scouts that are considering going to either Orlando 2020 or a future convention, and they're just on the fence, what would you tell them to push them to share what a great experience it is? Because I've been to multiple, and I agree, there's nothing like it.
I think you're missing out on something to have so many people like-minded come together. And I think it really, I guess the correct term would be amp you up to love Girl Scouts even more than you already do, and to see what the future brings for Girl Scouts, because I was at those conventions that are introducing new things and how they're excited to have new stuff and to have a voice and things like that. And I think it's important to go and use your voice and, put an input to what you would want to see in the future. Also have great experiences. You get, like I said, meet new people, but also in Orlando, we had the Hall of Experiences where we got to walk around. I traded lots of swaps with people. If there's a place where you want to share your opinion, but also introduce yourself to have connections. And they really did a good job last year of talking about the Gold Award. We had the National Gold Award Girl Scouts there that they introduced, and they really made it a priority to have those girls known and talk about how important it is to, if you want to do your Gold Award, how impactful it can be. And I think for me, that really gave me inspiration to do my Gold Awards, to be like, no, I can make an impact even if I am young, or I can, do my Gold Award if it, it is important. It's an important thing to do.
Is there anything else you have that you'd like to share with the audience?
If any girls are on the fence about doing their Gold Award and they don't think they have time or don't know if they can do it, I would say, is there something that you are very passionate about, that you want to do, that you want to make an impact, that will make an impact? I would say if you're on the fence, do it, because you are the only person who is setting your own limits. I think there's so many things you can go out and do, and there's nobody telling you you can't. I think we are all our own worst critics, and sometimes there were points where I wanted to give up and just not do my project because I thought, can I do it? Do I have this ability to do it? Will I be able to have the money to go support myself to go back to the Dominican Republic? Will this tool actually work, and things like that? I think at the end of the day, it's all about what you want to do. But you also have to remember, if you are doing your Gold Award, it is something you really want to do, you're going to be talking about it a lot. You're going to be talking about it. Mine lasted from the time I thought about my project to the time I'm going to end it will be about 3 years. So I've been talking about my project for 3 years. The same paper, the same everything. I've been talking about stuff for a long time. So if it is something you're really passionate about, make sure it is something you really, really want to do, because you're going to be talking about it for a long time.
How do you make your s'mores?
I don't like chocolate.
Oh.
So just marshmallow and graham crackers is how I like it.
You haven't found any other candy that you try to put in with it?
No, here where I live, have the baker who sells Thanks-a-Lots, and I don't really like chocolate, but I do like Thanks-a-Lots, and so I would make a s'more with a Thanks-a-Lot. So it does have a little bit of chocolate, but not a lot. But we don't sell them here, so I can't make it that way. But I haven't explored any other candy that I can use. I will try that, see if I can find some other ones.
Well, thanks for joining us, Carson.
Yes, thank you.
Please check our blog for tips and tricks on your Gold Award project. And be sure to hit subscribe so you always know when new episodes are released. And always power your passion and conquer your challenges.
The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions. Thank you for listening and spreading the word on what we do. If you want to share your story of how you earned your Gold Award, reach out and send an email to growandsshare@outlook.com. Be sure to listen to the newest episodes on your favorite podcast app, as well as view the full video episodes on youtube.com/Cheryl M. Robinson. That's youtube.com/Cheryl, the letter M, Robinson. Take care, and we'll see you next time.